Welcome to Like Whatever, a podcast for, by, and about Gen X. I'm Nicole, and this is my BFFF, Heather.
Hello.
So, how was your week?
It was okay. I don't know if you heard the news, but aliens are real and here.
Oh, okay.
The government has said that there are aliens. They have admitted to aliens.
All right.
They live under the water. I don't know if they live under the water, but that's where they're hiding in the ocean.
What?
The government would not lie to us. They live under the ocean.
Why don't they just live on their own planet?
I don't know. Maybe they need lots of water and they don't have water. See, here's the thing. Like, I have heard this before, that they're underwater.
I've never heard that.
They're called like UAPs or something like that. It's not UFOs anymore.
Right. I knew that.
Because they're under the water too.
Oh.
Yes. And so the podcast that I love, Last Podcast on the Left, they had told me about aliens living under the water. They did a whole thing. Henry loves aliens. That's his thing. Mm-hmm. And they had done a whole thing on these aliens that live under the water. I don't know if they live there or that's just where they park their ride. So no one will know. So they must be like amphibious.
So, I mean, obviously I believe that there are other life forms. It's crazy to think that in a universe as large as ours, that there is only us.
Yes.
I don't know how much I believe of how much they come to visit.
Apparently they're here all the time.
I'm not saying I don't believe that. I'm just very science-minded and I need like some proof and somebody saying that it is. Although actually some of the stuff that I get that makes me believe is my favorite podcast is Mr. Ballin. And we listened the other night and it was this man, it was in another country, I don't remember which one. He went out into a field and he swears he got like yanked around and they found him like sitting there just like in the fetal position. And he remembered all of it. So I think he was a police officer wherever he was as well. He was, and he saw a light. So he pulled over to go inspect.
Right.
And I don't think he called it in or something. So anyway, I mean,
obviously we're not the only things in the universe.
Right.
We can't be. It's a huge universe.
It's just a matter of
I'm not so egocentric to think that we're the best the universe. We're not the best the universe has to offer. I really hope
we're not.
So, obviously there are other things in the universe that are far.
Our planet's already fucked, but.
There are things on this planet that are smarter than us. So, I think whether or not, the thing of it is, I think that makes it more plausible is there's been a lot of military pilots that have come out and said, yeah, they're there. And now the government is admitting, And there was today was supposed to be the hearing. I didn't see anything when I checked right before, about what happened at the hearing, the congressional hearing on UFOs. I feel like there's probably way more that we could be concentrating our time on than whether or not there are aliens.
And I do trust our military officials and I do believe them, but my devil's advocate science brain is like, were they deprived of sleep? Was it something the government was testing that they didn't even know about? There's other things that it could be.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean I don't believe. I
think it's just going to be a question until they parade aliens out onto the streets and be like, ta-da, here's...
Yes, and here in America, we'll just shoot them all.
Well, exactly. Because they're weird and they don't look like us.
Exactly.
They're not tall white man. So we'll have to exterminate them.
Kill it.
Like Mars Attacks, one of my favorite movies. That's one of the best movies ever made. I think that's what they're gonna have to roll people out. Because I feel like at this point we're ready to hear it. I don't think anybody's gonna be shocked at this point.
Right.
That there's
I just want to know what they look like.
Right. Well, if you do any kind of research on it, which I only listen to podcasts about it, so I have never done. But there's 10 different kinds of aliens. There's tall grays, There's other ones I can't remember.
Little green men.
Little green men. And I think there's this.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, is it only one other planet that's coming here? Or are there multiple planets coming? Like, how close are they? I mean, they might not be able to get this far.
True.
So how close are we to other populated planets?
True.
Or do they live in planets, or is it like Star Trek and they live in the ship?
I think they they still live in the planets on Star Trek.
Oh.
But I think, well, there's some people that say we are their experiment, and they keep checking it. Like they seeded this planet with their DNA, and
I do sometimes feel like I'm in a video game.
Yeah.
The Matrix is not that far-fetched to me.
And that's why we see them, because they're checking in on their... I mean, they did a really shitty job, if I'm being frank. You know, we are killing this planet.
It's a failed experiment.
Yeah, it is. It's time to start over.
Yeah, the dinosaurs didn't work, so we're not working.
No.
So the next one.
I mean, obviously, it's a thing. But until they roll them out in front of people, I think it's always going to be a debate.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you're never going to be able to convince the people that the earth is flat, that think the earth is flat, that there are aliens.
Well, let's be honest, even when you show people aliens, they're not going to believe it's real.
No. They better be really good looking aliens or something. They better be like the big ones with the eyes and not like, I mean, because if they're here and they're parking their cars under the water, they have to be able to blend in. So they got to be a shape-shifting situation, or they just really look like whatever it is. Like, are they birds? Like, are they emus? Or
I think it's like Men in Black when it crashes in the guy's backyard and
they wear an Edgar suit.
And they got. Remember when we saw that movie together?
Yes. That's a great movie.
I was like 8 or 9 months pregnant.
The other day, I was talking to my sister. Well, I forget what she said. I forget what I said. I said if I was, I know, because I got this thing about nanites that I just refuse to have. It's a whole thing. Nanites, they take over your brain.
Okay. I don't want those either.
Yeah. So, she said something. I said, you know what the code is? And she said something about, well, is it going to be somebody wearing a Heather suit instead of an Edgar suit? And I was like, yes, exactly.
Oh, look at her.
Yes.
Referencing.
You know.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, she's good like that. So aliens, and there was something else too. Oh, the Tyson fight.
Yeah. What a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched it. It's funny because I called that from a mile away. Like, Netflix was not prepared for how many people wanted to see that fight.
Yeah.
Like, literally every person from every walk of life that I know on Facebook was excited to see.
They have been hyping it for months. And then the thing of it is why was it on so late? I had to go to bed. I couldn't stay up for it.
Well, yeah, and I hadn't even thought of it, but it was in Dallas. It's not like it was in Vegas. It didn't need to be that late at night.
And that's, why do you start the undercards at 8:00 at night?
Right.
Why didn't you start them at even 7?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
the women match before the main event was pretty good. I'll admit, by the time Tyson came on, I was kind of dozing in and out. I didn't really see it. Doesn't sound like I missed much.
No.
Not worried about it. But yeah, it's just.
I checked the next morning to see if Tyson had killed him, and he hadn't. So I was like,
yeah.
Then I have zero interest in watching it.
Ultimately, Tyson went to bed that night $20 million richer. So he doesn't really give a shit.
No, he does
what
not.
we thought of it.
He does not care what we thought of it.
Nope.
I also, on my podcast today, and I'm going to tattletale on Nicole.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
Oh, so much. So on my podcast, my murder podcast, today they were talking about this man who was a family annihilator, and he killed his whole family. His first wife and kids and stuff. And then he married again. And the second one, he tossed off the Grand Canyon.
What?
Yes. And I was thinking about how I would have tossed your ass out of the Grand Canyon.
We did almost die in the Grand Canyon.
For a donkey.
So, I'm going to tell the story so it's told correctly. So,
I swear we've told this story already. We tell it so many times to so many people.
So, we took for my post-divorce, we took a vacation. We went to Sedona, Arizona. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, except our first night. You remember that we heard the coyote?
We did.
And we got scared.
Yes.
And ran.
Yes. Yeah. But they had wine in the grocery store. I was very excited about that.
I do remember.
So anyway, one of the adventures that we were on that trip, we went to the Grand Canyon, and it says there are signs around that say, go ahead, but nobody's coming for you.
And mind you, it was the easy trail. They said it was the easy trail.
We took the easy trail. We're just bopping along. People coming up were looking exhausted.
They had like sticks, and we were like,
what is wrong with you? Yeah. I mean, we were just stopping to have a cigarette.
Yeah. We're like, blah,
which didn't help later on either. And remember, we had our banana and our bagels with cream cheese
at the halfway mark.
Yep, we'd pack those every morning as we ventured out, so that we could save money on meals. Because you got us a fancy condo, so we had a kitchen and everything.
Timeshare.
Yeah. So, so we go down, and then we knew we wanted to be out before dark, so we decided.
It took us 45 minutes to get down. And then 4.5 hours to get back out.
Literally, yes. Like, oh my God. Like, every 5 minutes we had to stop because we could not breathe and we could not go any further. It was awful.
They have no air in there. They don't keep any air in there.
They really don't.
They suck it all out. I don't know where they put it, but there is zero air in there.
Yes.
And it is their easiest trail. And it was, we had to keep stopping.
We did, and it was getting dark.
I was like, oh.
And I was trying to be tough, but I was so scared.
I think at one point I turned around and looked at her, and I was like, I would throw your ass off this cliff for a goddamn donkey right now.
She did, because they had donkeys you could rent, and I was like, oh, hell no. I mean, this little 3-foot wide trail and a drop down, and I'm scared of heights. I was like, no, but yeah, for sure. I would have walked a tightrope, taken a bicycle across a tightrope to get out of that place.
That was awful.
It was so scary.
And then when we got to the end of it, finally, they did have a bar. Do you remember the bar? And we did have, I don't drink a whole lot, but I did drink then.
Yes.
Which was probably a horrible idea because we were already dehydrated.
Yes.
Because we were
But we had to celebrate not being dead.
Yeah. We had to live in the canyon forever. And now I can never go back to the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
I don't want to ever see. Do you know how many times I've been to the Grand Canyon?
No.
Too many at this point. Like, it has lost its luster. Mm-hmm. I have seen it from every angle because the Indian Reserve side has the glass bridge. Mm-hmm. But it costs like, first of all, I wouldn't do it even if it was free. Mm-hmm. Even if they were giving money away to go on the glass thing, I would not.
Same.
But it's super expensive. So I've seen it from and I've seen it from inside of it. Mm-hmm. And that and the Hoover Dam, like I swear, because I've been to Vegas so many times and I've been with so many different people that I'm like, we should go to the Hoover Dam. And I'm so damn tired.
Although I would like to go see that bridge that they got finished.
I have not been there since they did that bridge.
They were constructing that when we were there.
Yes. I think every time I've been there, they were constructing it. I would not drive on that.
No, I saw somewhere that it is open.
Yeah. I would still take the dam, but over that bridge. Damn. I would make the damn trip. We went with my aunt and uncle a few years before that, and we drove them nuts because we rented a car to go to the dam. So we had to rent the damn car, and then we had to go on the damn tour, and we were in the damn parking lot, and it was this dam and that dam. And at one point, my uncle was like, "Is this going to continue all day?" And we were like, "Yes, yes, it is," because it has not worn off the funniness yet. So you better get on damn board. And we took the little boat too.
Ooh.
But because of the water, because of the droughts and stuff, now the mafia is getting exposed a little bit.
I know.
They're finding bodies in the whatever lake that is, Lake Mead.
Yeah.
Yeah, from where they got tossed off, and now they're getting. Yeah. I'm sure that all the mobsters are dead though that had anything to do with that.
Maybe.
Or they're all in Rhode Island, because I think that's where they live now.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Not that I know at all. Not that I'm up on the mafia or anything. But I think they all moved to Rhode Island.
All right, so let's do this.
Okay.
So in light of the fact that next week is Thanksgiving, let's walk around and find out about Thanksgiving. All right, so the quintessential American holiday evolved from religious roots of Spanish and English in the days of feasting and prayer to what it is today, which is a football watching, parade marching, gut stuffing event.
It's also the middle child of holidays. Because you have like the older sibling that is Halloween that's like kind of cool and a little bit weird and like standoffish, and it stands by itself and it's not real flashy and it's just like, hey, I'm here. Mm-hmm. And then there's the bratty younger sibling on the other side of it that's like, I'm fucking here. Everyone must look at me and has to come in and take over the whole goddamn world. And I hate Christmas.
Mm-hmm. But I love Christmas, so
I know. Well, that's the number. That is our number one difference.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, that and you're a cook and I'm a waitress. But.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna do a little history now on how Thanksgiving came to be, which I found very interesting. It was way different than what we were taught in high school or in elementary school, whatever.
Spoiler alert: they kill all the Indians.
I didn't go into all that.
Oh, okay.
But okay. So in 1541, the Spanish explorers claim that they had the first Thanksgiving. Actually, the Texas Society Daughters of the American Colonists say that the Spanish explorer Francisco Vasquez de Coronado left Mexico City with 1,500 men in 1540 to march north for gold. They camped at Palo Duro Canyon in Texas in 1841. Wow. And Padre Fray Juan de Padilla called for a feast of prayer and Thanksgiving, beating Plymouth by 79 years. By the way, I've been to Plymouth Rock, and it is hella lame.
I've never been there.
Don't go. It's literally, like, I could pick it up. Like, it's a rock. There's this big monument with columns. It's round. And you walk up to it, and you look down into the dirt, and there's a rock that I could probably pick up.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And the Mayflower did not land on that.
No.
So, then in 1898, the Spanish say they had 1598. What'd I say?
1890?
No, yeah, whatever.
We were a country by then.
1598.
Yeah.
The Spanish recorded the second feast 57 years later. A second Texas town claims the first Thanksgiving feast. Wealthy Spanish dignitary Juan de Onet granted land among the Pueblo Indians in the American Southwest. He wanted to make a path across the Chihuahua Desert to reach the Rio Grande. So with 500 men, women, and children, he trekked there to the Rio Grande, and they were all very thirsty and very exhausted. So they rested for 10 days and recuperated in now what is modern-day San Elizario. And Onate ordered a feast of Thanksgiving.
Did they have it in the basement of the Alamo?
Probably.
Yeah. And we're walking.
Mm-hmm.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's in the basement of the Alamo.
It was a celebration of making it to their destination. They had a great bonfire, roasted meat, and fish. Like, I like meat and fish, but
I can't get off the Pee-wee. Can you say Adobe? Oh, God, that's a great movie.
1607, there are competing claims that say the first Thanksgiving was on August 9th, 1607. The claims are that the English colonists and Abenaki Indians met for harvest feast and prayer in Maine, because, you know, the Indians were down with praying.
Sure.
Spanish founders in St. Augustine, Florida, shared a meal with the Timucuan people in 1565. So there's a lot of people that claim to have the first Thanksgiving, and I also see that they all claim that they enjoyed a beautiful feast with the Native Americans.
For sure. That sounds like propaganda.
Yeah. In 1621 was the Plymouth Feast. This is the one traditionally taught as the true Thanksgiving, even though there's very little archival evidence of this. So I figures that's what they would print in our textbooks.
Sure.
December 11th, 1621, Plymouth colonist Edward Winslow wrote a letter stating that the colonists wanted to celebrate their first good crop of corn and barley that was grown with the assistance of the Wampanoag Indians. The English colonists sent out 4 men to kill as much fowl as they could in one day. They invited King...
Sounds about right.
Massasoit, the leader of the Wampanoags, who throughout maintained peaceful relationships with the colonists. So the king and 90 of his men came along. He brought 5 deer for the 3-day party, and many believe that this was the first Thanksgiving. In 1775, leading up to the Revolutionary War, a group of Boston Patriots...
Hold up.
What?
Wait a minute. So this was in December 11th in Massachusetts. Okay. And they were hunting, I guess, but the corn?
Yeah.
Should not have been... Okay. It was snowing.
I know.
Did
it says that there is no archival evidence that it happened.
Because it didn't. It's all a lie.
All right, 1775. Leading up to the Revolutionary War, a group of Boston Patriots published an anti-British proclamation for a day of public Thanksgiving in the Massachusetts colony on November 23rd, 1775. My daddy's birthday is November 23rd. To celebrate the American win over Britain in the Battle of Saratoga, George Washington called for Thursday, December 18th, 1777 to be the first day for solemn Thanksgiving and praise. This was the first time that all 13 colonies celebrated Thanksgiving at the same time. Still not declared a national holiday yet, so I'm not buying into Thanksgiving until we get it.
I think it's all propaganda from Macy's. I know you'll get to that in a minute, but I think that's what it is. I think Macy's started Thanksgiving.
Well, Macy's definitely instigated Black Friday.
Well, sure.
All right, 1789, now President George Washington took Congress's recommendation to have a national day of Thanksgiving and prayer to celebrate the end of the Revolutionary War. Washington observed the holiday by attending church and donating food and money to prisoners and debtors in the New York City jails, which I thought was very nice.
Okay.
I didn't know George Washington did anything.
I doubt he did.
Okay.
Again, more. This is your propaganda.
Well, and I didn't forget to mention in the beginning, all of this information today comes from the History Channel. So
okay.
November 1946 to September 1863, known as the Mother of Thanksgiving, Sarah Josepha Hale started a 17-year letter-writing campaign to convince American presidents that it was time to make Thanksgiving official.
That is quite a commitment to, why do you have to make it, just cook a turkey and be done with it?
I mean, it's just an 1800s, Karen.
I guess. That's just ridiculous.
Then on September 28th...
That's my birthday.
That is your birthday. 1863, Hale, who was now 74 years old, wrote an impassioned plea to President Lincoln stating, "It now needs national recognition and authoritative fixation only to become permanently an American custom and institution." Although, while I will say that she was acting kind of like a Karen, I did previously mention, I don't really agree with Thanksgiving until it becomes a national holiday. So... I agree with her. Let's make it official.
Okay.
I mean, we can agree on that.
Sure.
Me and Sarah.
Nice.
All right.
That's good that you two have found common ground.
5 days later, on October 3rd, 1863, Hale's 17-year journey paid off, and President Lincoln proclaimed the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving.
How'd that work out for him? I don't think it was. Well,
it didn't. Yeah.
Don't go see, please.
God forbid you try to give people equal rights.
Yeah.
All right. So the first Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. So now we are done with that, and we're going to talk about
End scene. Thanksgiving is official. Lincoln said.
Yeah.
You know what? Lincoln died for your right to have Thanksgiving.
He did.
So eat a turkey leg for him. This one, pour one out for your homie. Or everyone should start wearing the top hats on Thanksgiving.
I know.
And not the
I'm
pilgrim.
getting confused because other presidents later are going to try to change Thanksgiving Day. And I got ahead of myself.
Are they going to try and make it like a certain day and not moving around?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, and it doesn't take. All right,
okay.
so.
Obviously.
Next.
Moving on.
Next, we're going to explore the history of the NFL and Thanksgiving.
Yay.
And why we watch football on Thanksgiving.
Yay.
Yay. I will precursor this with that I have to talk a lot about the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, obviously, because that's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
But, see, we had Thanksgiving. Nicole came to our Thanksgiving once.
I did.
I have, we do Thanksgiving at my aunt and uncle's house. And my uncle has since passed. But we still do, Thanksgiving at my aunt's house.
Mm-hmm.
And she is
the best cook in the whole entire world.
She is pretty amazing. She is the teeny tiniest little woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she could kick your ass and 10 of your friends.
Yep.
She's amazing.
She is.
So yeah. So we have dinner there, and Nicole came once. Mm-hmm. And my uncle, because they're from outside of Philadelphia, and the Eagles are, and they're Italian, my uncle would spend the entirety of the Cowboys game trying to put the Italian curse, the evil eye, on the Cowboys. And he does this thing with his hands at the TV. And my mom gets very upset the entire time that you're just giving us bad luck because you're putting a curse and you shouldn't be cursing people.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, yeah. And then it would continue the entirety of the Cowboys game. Every year. Every year.
So the first Thanksgiving football game dates back to at least 1876, when Yale defeated Princeton in a riveting 2-0 game in Hoboken, New Jersey.
That is riveting.
Yes. So I don't know if there was a way that you scored 1 point back then, or if it was just a safety.
Oh.
Yeah,
I guess it would have had to been a safety, right?
I would think, but
I don't know how they scored stuff back then.
I don't know. So by the 1980s, many college and high school teams played on the holiday. For the first professional Thanksgiving Day football game was until 1934. Too many numbers.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions played the Chicago Bears, and the game was broadcasted nationally on radio, obvi. In March 1934, George Richards bought the Portsmouth Spartans, who were then in Ohio, and moved them to Motor City, Detroit. To boost ticket sales and to get his team noticed in a city that was dominated by baseball and the Detroit Tigers, Richards convinced the Bears owner, George Hollis, to play on Thanksgiving morning. He also got the NBC radio network to broadcast the game nationally on their 94 stations. The Lions were 10-1 that season, and the Bears were 11-0.
Oh, I bet that was a good game then.
I know.
And they're division rivals, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This sounds like a rivalry that
goes
OG.
Yeah.
Approximately 26,000 fans made up a sellout crowd for the game at the University of Detroit Stadium. The Detroit Press printed a front page story of the game, which resulted in a 1916 Bears win. They said of the game, it was a masterful exhibition of offensive football. Although at 1916...
It doesn't sound very offense heavy.
Masterful. I mean, sounds more like the defense was doing their job.
It's no Tom Brady.
The game was a major boost to the league, and the following season, the Lions defeated the Bears 14-2. There's that 2 again. On Thanksgiving to clinch the Western Division title. So I guess safeties were big back then.
So why don't then, I mean, if this is a thing, why do they not have the... Wait, they do play the Bears this year, don't they?
Probably this year, but why isn't it always the
Every
Lions and
year.
Bears? Yeah.
I mean, they have to play at
twice
home
a year.
Twice. Yeah, I have to play at home once. Why not?
Yeah.
Just always do it on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run the NFL. Yet. That's why we're doing this podcast, so I can take over the NFL.
Before you become president of the world.
Yeah. You know who I'm firing first? Fucking Tom Brady.
All right, except for the years of 1939 to 1944, which was World War II, the Lions have hosted on Thanksgiving Day. The first nationally televised Thanksgiving game was in 1953. It was the Green Bay Packers versus the Lions, and it was broadcasted on the Dumont Television Network, one of the first commercial TV networks.
Who knew? That was...
Yeah, never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either.
In April 1966, the NFL added the Dallas Cowboys as a second Thanksgiving game. On November 24th, 1966, the Cowboys played the Cleveland Browns in the Cotton Bowl. The Cowboys won 26-14. They did not win this week. In front of 80,259 fans. The Dallas Cowboys were headed by Tex Schramm, or Schramm, I think. Yeah. Who was the president and general manager of the team, and and is considered one of the greatest innovators in NFL history. He's also known for instant replay, wind direction strips on the goalposts, and the referee's microphone.
So what, they just had to yell at that? Okay.
Hold it!
15 yards!
The Cowboys hosted a Thanksgiving game every year until 1974, when the NFL tried to make money off the high-flying St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals played on Thanksgiving from 1975 to 1977, and they lost all 3 years. Yeah. After the 1977 loss, NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle asked Tex Schramm if he wanted the Thanksgiving game day, and he said only if it was permanent. In 2006, the third Thanksgiving Day game was added.
Yeah, I remember. I think, did we have the first one? The first night one? Versus the Texans? I went to a Thanksgiving game that night. It was versus the Texans. I don't remember if it was the first one.
It probably was.
We tailgated.
Yeah.
And had Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, in 06 you were going.
Yeah. And then I think
so you would have been there.
I think it was the first night game. I think it was the first Thanksgiving night game. I can't be 100% on that. Yes, it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we went to the first game in the link.
Yeah, because we couldn't take my mom. It was crazy too. Tampa.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's a nice stadium.
Yeah.
Especially having spent so much time in the vet.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. We're spending a lot of time under the vet, waiting in ankle detail and sleep to buy tickets for your mom.
Yeah. We used to sit there for, 2 or 3 games a season before we had our season tickets. And, that was in June, but then for playoffs, because it was the playoffs, we would go up. And we were actually in the bowels of the vet buying tickets, because back in the day, kids, before there was the internet, you had to actually go to a ticket booth, or you could call on the phone, but they'd sell out so fast on the phone, or it would be so hard because there's busy signals.
We were literally in line behind people in tents. We got there super early in the morning, and we were only behind the people who had camped out the night before.
And Andy, because this was in June, single game tickets would go on sale in June. So we would go up. And Andy Reid's first year, we did it. We were there, and he gave out donuts. Him and Swoop gave out donuts. Do you remember him coming around?
I don't.
Yeah, I remember. He came around on their 4-wheeler.
Aww.
He came around and he was giving out donuts.
Oh, I wish I remembered.
And then every year we would make TV. Remember, for some reason, they would film, I think because we were probably the only women there that were camping out in the bottom of the stadium.
We had your mom's money in our pocket.
I know.
We were ready to go.
How stupid is that? It was a couple $100. In the 90s, a couple $100, because we got 4 games.
Yeah.
And for the playoff because it was the Detroit game.
Mm-hmm.
And we got, I know it was at least 4 tickets because you came and Jessica came.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
I mean, granted, tickets back then were probably $20.
No, I think they were more than that, though. I mean, they were probably at least 40.
Yeah.
Still, and then for 4 games, 2, 3 tickets apiece, that was a lot of money that we had in just cash.
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. Yep. She'd buy and we'd fly.
Yep.
Enough of that football talk.
Yeah. Boo football. No. Not boo football.
No, never boo football.
No.
All right, now we're going to talk about another Thanksgiving tradition, the Macy's Day Parade. Actually, it's the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or the Macy's Parade, but I always say the Macy's Day Parade, and I don't know why.
I know. I do too.
I don't think that's correct, though. Nowhere in my research did I see Macy's Day Parade.
I think it's just probably just
easier than...
And I've always said it that way, too. So I wonder how many other people say it that way.
Yeah, and I never even realized it till I was researching this, and it never came up, and I was like, oh. I guess I could say it wrong.
Yeah, I'm
just too lazy to say Thanksgiving.
I guess. Or it's one of those Mandela effects that maybe that's what they always called it and now they don't. Have you heard this Mandela effect thing? Mm-mm. The theory? Mm-mm. It's a weird thing. It's out there. But apparently the world ended in 1984. Did you know how everybody thinks that Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam where he was a genie and the movie does not exist?
Yeah.
So the theory behind all these Mandela effect things that we remember things, and then there was another one. I don't remember what off the top of my head what some of them are, but the Britney Spears with the microphone, and she never really had it, and okay, so all that they're saying the conspiracy theory is that the world ended in 1984.
Okay,
and so anything that happened after that or something about we struggle to remember it because it didn't happen and it's all built memories or it was so horrible that we're remembering it differently. Look it up sometime. It's a crazy theory that the world ended in 1984.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
And that I don't know how we got here. I don't know if they rebuilt us or it was like a reboot or what. And we're all, or they just,
they're regretting that decision.
I know. Anyway, look it up. It's something.
Okay.
And Sinbad was in a movie
Text
called...
it to me because I'll forget.
Yeah. I swear he was in that movie, Shazam. And there is no movie called Shazam with Sinbad as a genie. Go ahead. Macy's Day.
Macy's Day. Yeah, Macy's Day. November 27th, 1924 was the first Macy's Parade. It was the Roaring Twenties. And the New York City department store Macy's had opened their flagship store on Herald Square in Manhattan in 1922. So 2 years prior. By 1924, they expanded to cover a city block stretching from Broadway to 7th Street along 34th Street to showcase the 1 million square feet of retail space. That is nuts.
That is nuts.
I didn't realize it was that big.
I've been in New York a couple times and I have never been in the Macy's.
I don't know if I have. I know I've been in FAO Schwartz.
Yes, I went to FAO. They're not there anymore.
Yeah.
But I have been there.
Okay.
But I did not go to Macy's.
Okay. They wanted to start off the holiday season showing off their fancy new big store. So they threw New York a parade on Thanksgiving morning. The parade is actually not about Thanksgiving and was originally called Christmas Parade. Maybe that's why people call it Macy's Day Parade, because it was called a bunch of things.
I mean, well, it does end with Santa, right?
And then
it does.
I'm just going to call it Macy's Day. Yes, it does. And we'll get to it. So the actual first store-sponsored Thanksgiving Day Parade was 4 years prior in Philly. The Gimbel Brothers department store. And I remember the Gimbels
I remember
Brothers.
Gimbels.
I had totally forgotten. When I read it, I was like, oh.
I remember Gimbels, but I don't know that... Probably, we probably remember ads for Gimbels because we didn't have one here, but we had
and maybe we went as kids with our parents.
Yeah.
Why would we remember that?
But they probably played ads.
Yeah.
And we had Philadelphia channels. You probably did. I didn't, but we had Baltimore.
I didn't have cable.
Oh. Then I don't know.
The Gimbel Brothers department store had the first Thanksgiving procession in 1920 with 50 people, 15 cars, and a fireman dressed like Santa.
Did they throw snowballs at him?
Saddest little parade. Oh, probably.
They like to do that.
Yeah. The first Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was in 1924, and it was themed to match the Macy's Christmas window display of the season, which was Mother Goose. It included floats featuring the old woman who lived in a shoe, Little Miss Muffet, and Little Red Riding Hood. Macy's employees dressed as clowns, cowboys, and sword-wielding knights.
None of those have anything to do with any of the nursery rhymes you just mentioned.
You know what? I didn't realize that.
Not a single thing goes with any of those.
Fair point. Animals such as bears, elephants, camels, and monkeys were borrowed from the Central Park Zoo. And 4 bands performed. I don't know if they were marching bands or...
Probably, I would think so.
I would think so, too. Drumlines.
Yeah.
Trumpeters. I don't know. The final float was a reindeer-driven sleigh on top of a mountain of ice, and it featured Santa Claus, of course. The parade ended around noon in front of Macy's, where 10,000 people were waiting to cheer Santa, who was crowned as the King of Kitties.
That's kind of creepy.
It's creepy, and I've never heard it before, and I'm glad. But maybe that was the
glad
only
we
year
don't
they did
do
it.
that
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm glad we don't call him the King of Kitties anymore.
That's weird.
And he climbed up a ladder to sit on a gold throne that was on top of the store's marquee above the store's entrance.
And then they left him there until December 26th.
Well, maybe on the 24th, the reindeer picked him up.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had to work.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. He has to work.
Santa bellowed his trumpet, and the NYPD lowered the crowd control lines to unveil a 75-foot window of miniature Mother Goose marionette characters moving on belts in their own parade in front of a castle.
That's creepy also.
It is, but it did remind me, did you go to the Blue Hen Mall when you were a kid?
Yes.
Okay, so they had the most fantastical Christmas displays. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. So I lived closer to the Dover Mall, so I was there more. And they had like the robotic, it was like Disney. They had the robotic elves moving and hammering and things moving.
Right.
And Santa would sit up and you get to go sit on Santa's lap. I don't know. It was awesome.
I don't, we only went to Dover like once a year. Maybe twice a year.
To go to the Apple store.
Yeah. That. And we would go to the mall, but most of the time we would go to Christiana.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, I mean, we'd go to Salisbury all the time, but we were planning the big mall trip.
Yeah,
it was to Christiana.
The bougie mall.
Yeah, it's the very bougie mall.
So in 1927, the first Macy's character balloon was Felix the cat.
I didn't know that.
The helium-filled balloons replaced the live animals from the zoo due to the animals being distressed.
Good call.
During the parade, which caused them to growl and roar and scare the children.
I'm sure.
I didn't read anything about them eating any children, but certainly
they handed out rabies.
Pretty much any of those animals could have killed.
Yes. A monkey will rip your arms off.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And beat you with them.
Hell yeah. Remember that woman whose face got ripped off by a monkey?
Yeah.
Whew. Poor lady. It's now called the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Sure it is.
Not the Macy's Day Parade. And Santa's arrival in Herald Square still is the official start of the Christmas season in New York City. Although now the tree's coming in, so is that the...
Christmas invades way too much of it. I mean, for God's sakes, they were putting Christmas stuff up with the Halloween stuff next to the Halloween stuff.
I went into a store the day after Halloween to look for cheap candy for my desk because I keep a bowl of candy on my desk so people come talk to me, and it works. I literally found like the tiniest spot of like Halloween stuff on sale, and everything else was Christmas.
Yeah.
I found no candy.
Walmart was putting it up but way before Halloween. It's an invasive species. Christmas is an invasive species.
It is. And that's one thing, like I love Christmas. I used to love Black Friday. I used to love Thanksgiving. But it was different.
I mean, I've never been a fan of Christmas because I don't like the fake. But because that's what I feel like it is. Everybody is just They hate you 11 months of the year, but Christmas, they're like, oh, Christmas cheer and blah, blah, blah. And, a lot of people think I hate Christmas because of my job, which does not help.
You hated Christmas long before you were
Yes, exactly. I mean, it really does not help. Christmas is not fun. I don't know. I just think it just takes too much. It's too, and it invades every other December holiday. There are other religions. Poor Hanukkah just gets.
I know.
Nobody even knows Hanukkah.
Yeah.
There's only one Hanukkah song.
Right. Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And that one was made like 20 years ago.
Not
more.
So the other day.
Actually, more like 40 years ago.
To get back on my Christmas rant.
Lord.
I was traumatized the other day because I was buzzing around my Sirius because I like to use the scan feature on there so that I can, move along quickly and whatever. And I was traumatized because I was not expecting Christmas channel yet. And it stopped on the Christmas channel. It wasn't Mariah Carey, thank God, but I don't remember what it was, but I was like, no.
Yeah, I know that they started this early, but after Thanksgiving is when I'm ready. See, the tradition in my house, in both my households, because I did come from divorced parents, was Thanksgiving weekend, the tree goes up, you start your Christmas music, you start your shopping, but it was mild, you just kind of got things going. Now, everything's already done before Thanksgiving gets here.
My mom would start decorating the house on December 1st.
Okay.
And then...
Your parents didn't put a tree up till Christmas Eve, right? I thought that was the craziest thing when I met you.
Yeah. My mom grew up where Santa brought the tree. And so...
What were her parents thinking? That is so much work.
I know. So we did not put our tree up until Christmas Eve. As we got older, I think they were,
when I met you, you were still doing Christmas Eve.
I was?
Yeah. Because I
don't know. I tried to opt out, and I never could. I would end up just sitting in the room watching, and I would put the 4 ornaments that I had to put on because they were my ornaments, and the stupid kindergarten garbage, and then I would put those up, but mostly I would sit around and pout because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be there, and because everybody loves putting the Christmas tree up and nobody wants to take it down.
That is facts.
And it just sits there forever, and after Christmas you stop lighting it up, so then it's just a dead tree in a corner, and it's really sad. It's a dead tree in a corner that everybody just stare. That feels like it. I'm not going to get into the poor tree.
Tradition in my family, again, was after New Year's, you'd take the tree down. So I try to stick with that, too. I don't sit around forever.
My dad would put Christmas lights up, and then one year he just decided he was just not going to take them down. And then they were on the house for, 5 years. And at 4th of July, he would light the house up with the Christmas lights. Yeah. I'm sure the neighbors were just thrilled.
Speaking of Black Friday.
Bah humbug.
Man, I have some great memories of Black Friday, but that's when Black Friday was real. The real. But anyway, the first recorded use was to describe the financial crisis on September 24th, 1869, when the U.S. gold market crashed. 2 ruthless financiers, whose names I didn't bother with because they sound like they're assholes, bought up as much U.S. gold as they could in an attempt to run up the prices and sell for a huge profit. On September 24th, the conspiracy unraveled, sending the stock market into freefall, bankrupting Wall Street barons to farmers. The first use in a retail context on the theory that retailers operate at a loss all year in the red, and then turn a big profit the day after Thanksgiving when shoppers blew lots of money on deeply discounted merchandise, otherwise known as in the black. This origin story is officially sanctioned, however, it is inaccurate.
See, I always knew it was in it. And I was always told no, it's when...
I told you I had fun researching this this week because I found out so much.
I always remembered, I don't know where I learned it or what I had heard it on, but it was not because stores go into the black.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In recent years, an ugly twist on the tradition has surfaced, claiming that back in the 1800s, plantation owners could buy enslaved workers at a discount the day after Thanksgiving. And I bring that up because if there are people that think that is a thing, I wanted to acknowledge it. I hope that's not true, but I certainly would not put it past our history for that to be true. This has understandably led to some calling for a boycott. However, there is no basis in fact to support this claim.
I mean, first of all, if you're going to boycott it, I think we could probably just say the entire holiday is boycottable.
Yeah, you can find 100 reasons.
It's problematic to begin with.
Yeah.
I also always thought they called it Black Friday because I thought in school that we were taught the day after Thanksgiving they went and slaughtered all the Indians that they had just had and stole all their stuff.
Well, see, that's the difference between public school and private school, because we were just taught that they all sat down at a picnic table and everybody dressed all pretty, and
I mean,
they all were.
We did learn that, but then it was like, and then the next day.
Yeah, we weren't taught that.
Smallpox was given out. That's probably what happened. They probably stuffed the turkey with smallpox.
Ugh.
And then all the poor indigenous people.
Or sent them home with blankets that were infested.
Yeah.
The real Black Friday dates back to the 1950s, again in Philadelphia. It was used by police to describe the chaos of the hordes of suburban shoppers and tourists that flooded into the city after Thanksgiving and before the Saturday Army-Navy game.
Yeah.
The police had to work extra long shifts, couldn't take the day off to go to the Army-Navy game, and the shoplifters took advantage of the crowds. In the 1980s, retailers reinvented Black Friday, and it is now a 4-day event that includes Black Friday, Small Business Saturday and Sunday, and Cyber Monday.
Right.
So, yeah. So back in the day, like, I used to work with a girl, and we would get up, and you'd get in line at like 4 a.m. for the stores to open at like 6 a.m.
I can tell you that there is no discount on this earth.
I usually never even bought anything. If anything, I'd buy myself like some clothes or something that I found on sale. I just loved it. Like, we had so much fun, and we used to, like, for years we did the right thing, and we waited in line and we did everything. And then, like, later in the years, I remember being in Target parking lot, and we went out and we'd hide behind cars. And Target would hire security, which were all these young boys who would come and try to scurry us away from behind the cars. And the people in line would be yelling at us because they knew what we were doing. And the second the doors would open, we would rush the doors and cut the line. But we felt like we earned it because for like 10 years, we did what we were supposed to do.
I guess. I couldn't.
My friend would always buy stuff. So I would kind of just sit somewhere and hold all her stuff while she ran around the store. But it was really, really fun.
There's just no discount. They could be giving TVs away, and I would not have done it.
DVD players were the big thing back then.
Right. Yeah. I always worked on Black Friday to feed all the people that were... Because, the outlets, they start theirs at midnight.
They do, and I did that some also. I'm not a big fan of it starting on Thanksgiving.
Okay. So I have another... Here comes the soapbox, kids.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know. Right. Well, here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, the store shouldn't be open on Thanksgiving. The store shouldn't be open on Thanksgiving. It's a family holiday.
You shouldn't go to the stores then.
You should not go on Thanksgiving. It's just wrong that you make those poor workers come in. Hey, does anybody know what restaurants are serving Thanksgiving dinner this year? That drives me up a fucking wall. Why do you campaign for retail workers to be home with their family and to screw the poor?
Nobody cares about restaurant workers.
It's so infuriating.
It is. It really is.
Because it will be the same breath.
Mm-hmm.
They will be like, oh, it's terrible that they make those poor... Walmart should not make those poor people go in on Thanksgiving. But I need to have my Thanksgiving dinner somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't want to make a turkey at home.
Yeah. But one of my best Black Fridays was... I had plans to go with a friend, and this was when the outlets opened at midnight. And my nephew was here with us having Thanksgiving. And he's like 20. And my friend cancels last minute. And I was so sad because I used to go get the newspaper, and I had all the flyers, and I knew where I wanted to go and what I wanted to try to get. And my nephew agreed to go with me. And seriously, it was so much fun. Like, we just had the best time. So I have a lot of really fun memories of Black Friday. I get why people hate it. I get why people want to boycott it. And I would never do it again. Like,
do they even have? I mean, really, everything's online now.
Exactly.
All their cyber sales are.
Yep. Yeah. So.
And then we have, Cyber Monday. The deals are just, and now they have Black Friday. You can get Black Friday deals now.
Right. Yeah, I do go small business Saturday.
Yeah.
No,
that is a good.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, addition. It sure
I can go downtown and like the whole street is set up, and you get like a bag with some goodies in it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good idea. That is nice because a lot of these places struggle because you can buy anything online now,
and besides the sales, they get the exposure.
Right,
people like see that they're there and stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's all my stuff for my history on Thanksgiving type things.
Very educational.
Yeah. I found it interesting. I always like going back and relearning history the right way.
Right.
Or at least getting all the information and making my own.
Yeah, because I won't say it again, but because of the school, we did learn, the not so great parts of the colonists.
Yeah.
Which, as a side, just because that popped into my little tiny brain, do you know that the plague that ran through Europe, they now think had to have come into the Americas also, and that is literally the only way that the colonists would have been able to colonize, because the native population had been half wiped out also by the plague. Because in one of the Carolinas, there was a settlement of Vikings that got wiped out, and there are natives from that area that all have blue eyes.
Whoa.
And so if they couldn't make it, how are these little colonists that have been on a boat for how long? They're not going to make it either. Right. So they actually think that the plague did make its way through the Americas also. And that's why, fun fact.
It's like bio-warfare.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, they killed them with smallpox, which probably also, didn't hurt. But that's what I've heard, that's the only way it would have been able to be colonized, that the plague had taken out half. And anyway, fun fact.
Makes sense.
So what are you doing this year for Thanksgiving?
I don't have any plans. So years ago, I used to go to my mom's. And then I met my husband, and I used to cook dinner for my father-in-law on Thanksgiving. That became the new tradition.
Right.
And then almost 3 years ago now, he passed away. And actually, prior to him passing away, he actually would have other plans on Thanksgiving. So a couple of years, my husband and I volunteered our time to feed first responders for Thanksgiving. Last year, we went to Niagara Falls. We took our nephew, took a little road trip. Just went out and had a nice dinner on Thanksgiving. Went to a restaurant on Thanksgiving. Sorry. It was in a casino. So.
You notice, she said prior to that she did not think it was okay for stores. And she has worked in restaurants the majority of her life.
Well, yes. And I have had to work the holidays because I worked in restaurants. And that was a choice that I made, to work in restaurants.
Okay. I'm just saying.
I know. Yeah, I know. But anyway, we don't have anything planned for this year.
What are your kids? That middle one. What? She's got her own house and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And a husband. Why isn't she doing it?
She might do Thanksgiving with her dad's family.
Oh.
I think that's because I would have them on Easter when they were little, and he got them on Thanksgiving.
Right.
And I think they still
do that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, if somebody wants to invite me to something, I will come.
Except for that one. I know for a fact.
That was a really bad.
You are not going to that one.
Yeah, I didn't say that right. Yes.
No.
Not if anybody.
No.
If if someone wants to invite me, I will take consideration into. No, I don't know what we'll do this year. Probably just do some sports betting and watch football.
Yeah, can't beat that.
Yeah.
Just go to Wawa and get like a turkey bowl or whatever.
Yes, their turkey bowls are good.
They don't even have to cook.
There we go.
I'm going to my aunt's.
You're so lucky.
I know. And I don't know. We always did Thanksgiving with my mom's family and Christmas with my dad's family, which is also a reason why I hate Christmas, because I do not get along with that side of the family. And oddly enough, I was the black sheep of that side of the family.
You're doing something there.
Yeah. And my mom's side of the family is, they were much more, but
nurturing.
Yes. And my uncle and I share birthdays, so
right. I
was always his favorite. And
he was always your favorite.
Yes. He's my godfather, was my godfather, and but yeah, so I'm gonna be going over there, and she makes my cousin does make lamb now. I think it's lamb. Does he make lamb? I think he does it for both holidays now too, because I do Easter, which is really funny because we're all freaking atheists, so I don't know why we even, but it's just, I guess, an excuse.
Yeah.
Because when they lived in Pennsylvania and we lived here, we didn't see them very often. Mm-hmm. It was only like major holidays, so I think that's why.
Well, that's what I like about all the holidays, is the tradition of any of them. Easter, I could give or take,
yeah,
well, I have a little niece and nephew, so I get to watch some Easter egg hunt and stuff. But
I have an issue with the whole Easter thing. I mean, if Jesus died and was resurrected, wasn't that like a definite date? Most people have a definite death date. Yeah. I don't think it should just move around from month to month.
Well, it has to do with the full moon cycle.
Okay, again. Unless the full moon killed Jesus and put him on a cross. Pagan
or anything to base holidays on.
Man, they're all based around some pagan holiday.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing I hated, well, I didn't have to do it, but I know some people did. I've heard tale of it. Because my uncle would just, there is video of every Thanksgiving since video came out, recordings came out. Never him. And I've never seen any of these videos, so I don't know where they are or if they even exist anymore. Mm-hmm. But he would take video of it, and that's the only thing we just would eat. There's no, I remember one year I brought my ex, and I said, it's just, he came from a very religious background. Mm-hmm. And I said, we went, and it was just she plopped the turkey down, and we were all like, yay. And he was like, you don't say a prayer? I was like, no. And he was like, you don't say your faith. Is there an Easter bunny here? He's like, you don't go around the table and talk about what you're thankful for? And I was like, no, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, I have had to do that a lot of times. And tomorrow is our work Thanksgiving luncheon, and it's probably going to happen. So I better start thinking about it now.
Start thinking about it.
Because it's always the kids or your family.
I know, you can say it for your podcast. That's what you can say you are thankful.
I'm thankful for whatever.
And we have.
I'm just thankful, whatever.
You can be thankful that we have people listening in how many different countries now? 8 different countries.
8 countries. It's so exciting.
That is exciting. So yeah, that's Thanksgiving. That's what we did. That's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And then it's weird at the beach too, because they used to have Santa would come on a boat on the beach.
They don't do that
in
anymore?
Ocean City. I don't know if they do or not. They might.
That would be fun.
And then he would come in on the boat and run up the beach, which that sounds awful for poor Santa, because you got sand. And you got sand in that suit.
Yeah.
And it gets wet because he just jumps out.
Yeah.
That thing has to weigh 500 pounds.
Yeah. Coming across the water in the boat would be cold.
Exactly.
That's why his cheeks are rosy.
I guess. Okay. That's enough of that. So,
all right.
We want to just wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.
The next episode after this one is mine, and it will be after Thanksgiving. It will be on Black Friday. Mm-hmm. So happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And start thinking of what you're going to be thankful for if you have to do that.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, be thankful for.
Yeah, it's not too bad if you're like near the end of the table where they, but man, when they start and they point at you first, you're like, fuck.
I'm thankful for.
I'm thankful for all of you.
Oh, God bless us, everyone. Okay, so thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Thanksgiving. You can like, share, rate, review, all of those things. And that really will help us out because it will bump us up on, especially Apple, bumps you up in the ratings, and Spotify.
Yeah, nobody's rated us. We appreciate all the listens, but
yes,
a rate or review would be fun.
Would be fantastic.
Yeah.
It bumps you up and then you can be in the new podcast section.
Ooh.
Yeah, I read that. Spotify also, I think, because those are our two biggest platforms.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most people, Apple hands down is number one.
Yeah, definitely.
So like I said, like, share, rate, review, tell a friend, say, hey, you want to listen to two weirdos talk about nothing for an hour?
You need something to put you to sleep at night.
Exactly.
Turn this on.
You know. Also want to thank the people at work because I do know that you all know who you are, and I appreciate that you listen and that you tell me that you listen, and I know that you're listening because you tell me about it. So,
and I get told that you all are listening, and I appreciate it as well, and all the feedback.
Yes, so I will say that is what I am thankful for.
Yes.
Find us where you can find podcasts, but you're listening, so you already found it. Follow us on all the socials at Like Whatever Pod. Mm-hmm. You can send us an email to likewhateverpod@gmail.com or don't. Like whatever.
Whatever.
Bye.
Bye.